All right, Jeff Goodman, Bob Ryan here for CLNS Media and the Garden Report. And today's topic, Robert, Brad Stevens. There is some heat on your favorite Celtics coach or current Celtics coach. I don't like it, and I'm partial to him, Bob, because I covered him in college when I think he arguably did as impressive of a feat as I've ever seen in college basketball, taking a Butler team from the Horizon League to the national title game 2 straight years. No cheating, a mid-major league, and he takes him, bucket away from winning a national title against Duke, and then again, he gets him back. So I understand the frustration. This team hasn't been as good as people thought they'd be, but they also haven't had a healthy Kemba Walker.
I mean, it's predictable that there would be a segment of the population that would be getting restless. So I'm trying to pick my words very carefully here, and to say the least. And I understand that. I think it's crazy. I think look at what he's working with at the moment, and Kemba has been, frighteningly bad at times. I mean, the numbers are damning. It's awful. His plus minus is it's minus 68 or something over some period of time. Sure. But I mean, he's not shooting well. We know that it's not there yet. Okay. He hasn't, now he doesn't have, I mean, they're not as fully assembled as we would like them to be. I'm not holding him accountable. I mean, there's certain games decisions.
Sure.
He has one thing I've learned over 50 plus years of covering this league is that there's one ideal team in terms for a coach. There was one, and that team is you have a set starting 5 and a 3-man rotation off the bench, which includes one guy at least who's a 2-position player, one guy who has a specialty that's really big. He's either a shooter or a rebounder or a defender, and another guy who's happy, who's not going to bitch about not playing and is a decent player. And you have that 8-man rotation with a really great first 5, and then you don't have to worry about. And then you have rotation. You don't have decisions. You don't have to second guess yourself. They don't have that team. They don't even have a regular, reliable 5th starting 5 because of the 3-headed monster in the middle. At the 4.5/5 spot that they have. And that what they say in football. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. Well, we've gotten away from that a little bit, but in the NBA, if you got 3 centers, you don't have the one you need. You're gonna put it that way, So,
here's my problem with this. My problem with this is people are judging it. They're 12-11 or whatever they are this year.
Yeah, 12-11.
They lose to the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and a lot of people say, "Well, they should have won." Now, if we had told anybody in the preseason a year ago, where do you think the Celtics are going to finish? Most people would have said in the preseason somewhere around 4th or 5th in the conference. They end up getting to where if they had a healthy Gordon Hayward, they might have gotten to the NBA Finals. But they didn't. They didn't have a healthy Gordon Hayward. Kemba wasn't healthy either. We see it now. Kemba wasn't healthy in the playoffs last year.
No.
He looked like a shell of himself. Better than he does right now, but not much better. So, you've got Tatum, you've got Jaylen Brown right now, and Kemba, who is an absolute shell of himself. Marcus Smart, who's been out for a little while now, and Tatum was out for a stretch. I think ultimately,
and Brown,
let's give Brad Stevens the year. Give him the year. Let's see what he can do if he has all cylinders clicking, when he gets Smart back, when Kemba, hopefully, I said it before the year. I think, honestly, you're going to have to judge Kemba after the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we've got to judge what we've got in Kemba Walker if you are Danny Ainge and the Boston Celtics. But ultimately, I think it's ridiculous because if you look back on those teams that he took to the Eastern Conference Finals, Brad took in 17 and 18, he maximized that. I mean, look at Isaiah Thomas. He was their best player, Bob.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was a train wreck defensively, and you see it now. I know he got hurt, so it's probably unfair to say, but Isaiah Thomas wasn't that good. He wasn't, in my opinion, I still say he was never a top 25 player in the NBA. I know he did some things that were remarkable in that stretch, but Brad Stevens, to me, maximized those two teams should have had no right getting to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They had something that had a very special bond at the end of that one year. Terry Rozier was playing great, as well.
Yeah.
And but so no, I think we're in agreement. He's not the problem.
No.
He's not the problem at all.
We both would like to see them shoot less
saying,
threes, right? Shoot less threes. We both would agree on that.
Well, what team? All right, maybe so, but yeah. But I just don't see how anybody can fairly judge them until we get whole, until they get whole, and that's that. I mean, now, I think we're on the same page. We're both well inclined to give them much the benefit of the doubt. It's going to take an awful lot to change our minds. All right. I'm all right. I'm almost like a Senate Republican, at the impeachment trial. I'm dug in.
You're not flipping. You're not flipping.
I'm dug in on Brad Stevens. I see no reason to alter that opinion. And I would like to go on record as saying that I don't want to be stubborn in the long run if I come to a different conclusion, but I have no reason to come to a different conclusion. He's not the problem.
Not the problem. And what I'll say, and maybe it does cloud my judgment a little bit, you will not find a better human being than Brad Stevens. You will not.
People, the discordant people don't want to hear that. And
right.
That's fine.
They want him to be tougher. They want him to light a fire under some of these guys. And that is the one thing I always worried about with him coming to the NBA. I always said, Brad is going to need the right players for him. Like, he can't deal with Kyrie or Rondo. And we saw that. That's not going to work in Boston under Brad Stevens. I think he's got the right group. I don't think he's got any egomaniacs on this team that can't be dealt with. So I think this is the right group for Brad Stevens. You're not bringing in Boogie Cousins in here. I think Danny Ainge knows what he can get away with Brad Stevens and what he can't. But I'm with you. I think, again, be careful what you wish for. That's what I would say to Celtics fans. Be careful what you wish for, because it could be a lot worse. To me, I still think Brad Stevens is a top 10 coach in the NBA.
No, I think he's at least that. I definitely
right. Maybe top 5, but definitely top 10.
If he's ever a free agent in the NBA, there'll be a long line.
Everybody will go after him.
Of course, as we all know, they're still lighting candles in Bloomington, Indiana, hoping that someday he's going to come back to the Hoosier State.
And as I say, as I remember, I asked him, I think on the podcast was, so you're going to finish your career at Butler? And he kind of laughed, but I talked to Chris Holtman, the current Butler head coach, and asked him that question. He said, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if again, final year, Butler needs a coach. Something happens with their current coach. Brad Stevens is, 57 or 60, and he's at home. And he's at home, I don't know what he's doing at home. And he just says, yeah, I'll come out. I'll come out for a year and try to get this program back on track, or I'll try to help you out. It wouldn't surprise me. But for now, Brad Stevens is the coach of the Boston Celtics.
We're lucky to have him. I'm sorry. I'm not listening to that. Hey, express your opinion. Fine. Sports fans are entitled to do that, but we're entitled to disagree. And I'm digging in. And I like that analogy I just came up with, by the way, the Republican senators and the
pretty good.
Well, yeah, I'm a staunch Bradophile.
Very good. Bob Ryan, Jeff Goodman, CLNS Media, the Garden Report. There you have it. We still back Brad Stevens.